COVID is not communism. I did a video with a similar title, similar theme yesterday. There was some technical difficulties with it, and I had to go and delete it. So um, I'm going to be repeating the same points. If you heard it already yesterday, I apologize, but I'm going to repeat it again and hopefully do a better job. But when the COVID crisis that started taking place, and the Western world, and I mean most countries around the world, realized there was a pandemic, and they started to respond the best they could, and it was initially a nonpartisan way of doing this here in the United States. Um, were the lockdowns necessary at the beginning? I would say it was a necessary evil. It inconvenienced my life. It sure as hell. I mean, I have not been to the gym in a couple of months. Luckily, I haven't gained any weight, but I would love to go and continue to work out like I normally used to. So I wouldn't be as big as I used to be years ago. But another, I'm getting off track right there. But I'm not able to go to a gym, not able to go eat out in a restaurant, not able to go to mass, not able to enjoy what people enjoy in a civil society when they're not at work. Now, I'm one of the lucky ones. I wasn't laid off work, and I've even made a little extra money off of this. Uh, I mean, I had a bump in pay, and for that, I'm grateful. I mean, and I got my overall moderately good health, and so I wasn't suffering under under the lockdowns. I was mildly inconvenienced, but I I understand why um, the lockdowns took place. Um, I am hearing people as the last several months took place with the lockdown laws. Some states were more restrictive than the others. That people were getting restless and wanted to open shit back up. I think that most of us wanted everything to go back to normal. And here's the thing right there. You had to get partisan. People had to get partisan about this shit, and they started acting like this was some sort of plot to kind of keep people trapped in their homes and control their lives. It's all about control and controlling your movements. And there are people lately saying this is what life is like under communism. The hell it was. Under communism, everything was a prison. But while it was a prison, you would have gotten some kind of a check from the government. You would have had access to health care. I'm not defending communism, but you know, that's what would have happened if this was life under the Soviet Union, healthcare would be universal and you'll be getting a check. So and but here's the thing. There was no uh, you got laid off and people got fucked over. Um, with no money coming in. Um, maybe if you're lucky, you were one of the people that had the one-time $1,200 stimulus check. Corporations were not nationalized. In fact, if anything, these predatory capitalist institutions just made out like bandits, as Stephen Mnuchin said, come in there and said to corporate America, and even countries outside the United States that are not registered in the United States. Come on, get some corporate welfare. Oh yeah, we're going to prop you up. Got to prop you up. We're going to go and have rugged individualism for the poor and the middle class. Fuck them. But we're going to have socialism for the rich. Privatize the losses and socialize. I mean, well, you know what I mean. Socialize those who are of comfort, the 1%. Um, that's exactly what happened. the corporations, corporatism won out for this COVID crisis. The mom and pop businesses got destroyed pretty much. Some of them may get back on their feet. I hope they all do. But a lot of these companies, these small businesses, they're out of business. These large mega corporations are just going to buy them up, and we're going to see a return, probably a return of monopoly. If this is communism, wow. I mean, but point I'm trying to make is this is this this crisis. Even if we didn't lock down, and like they did in Japan and Sweden, where they didn't have a mandated lockdown and they kind of urge people to use common sense, I would have probably been very receptive to doing it that way. Or even in Europe with the lockdowns and the layoffs or what have you, like the UK and Canada, they went and they're paying people like 80% of what they were making prior to the layoff throughout the entire economy, and people were not just perpetually fucked over the way Americans were. I mean, here I thought it was bullshit that we couldn't get a UBI, or at the very least, even though I want Medicare for all right now, I wanted Medicare for all yesterday, but at least some kind of temporary um, Medicare for all, and a freeze on debt collection and a freeze on rent, all across the board, so people can kind of get back on their feet and catch their bearings on what the fuck to do. But now, just as is always done in America, people want to sit there and make a partisan issue out of this crisis. And all these silly goons with their camouflage and guns going to the state capitol, in various state capitals across the country, demanding everything open back up. You know, here's the thing. Why are y'all concerned with opening things back up? You feel oppressed, but you show empathy to the corporations being closed down, or even to the rioting that took place, showing empathy for business for for you know various companies, stores. They're owned by corporations like Target or AutoZone or what have you, being torched down. You show more empathy for their CEO than you do for the average American who is struggling with healthcare costs due to medical inflation, because we have a failed market system that can't meet the needs of our population in this country. You're going to be more concerned about that than the average Joe or Jane who can't afford prescription drugs or a doctor's visit or a medical procedure, or just trying. They may even have COVID, but they're too scared to go to the doctor because they know that they're going to be bankrupt probably. That is just ass backwards thinking. It is. So no, COVID's response was not a form of communism. And actually, the funny thing is, Sweden and Japan, while there's no such a thing as a socialist state. They have goodies that would be considered socialist here in the United States. Um, they have those. They have those public services and the public medical system that helps people deal with all kinds of problems. And there were many things we could have done intelligently here in the United States. And the intelligent thing that we needed to do was to go and have, well, at a basic minimum, a UBI, universal basic income. We needed to finally eradicate the insurance companies and have a single payer system in this country. Um, if not a full blown national health service like they have in the UK. Um, We needed to go and put an end to prescription drugs being manufactured in China, which are substandard. Nothing against the people of China, but the government's shitty. Um, and make our own drugs. It would have been a way to return our manufacturing base here. It would have been a way to do this. We could have we could have used the Defense Production Act to do these things and engage in some selective nationalization of certain industries to expand jobs for people. Um, we could have done these things, but no. What do? We do what we always do in the United States for the last 40 years: take corporations and make them a victim, give them more money, and fuck the American people. And that's what's done. And so, when Donald Trump talks about draining the swamp, having Larry Kudlow and Steven Mnuchin in the administration ain't draining the swamp. It's actually making the swamp swampier. But I digress, and that's my rant today. I'm Bernie Bro. If you like what you heard, please press thumbs up and subscribe, and ask your friends, your loved ones, your spouse, your coworkers, and anyone you vaguely know. Let them know about this channel and tell them how awesome it is. Awesome. I'm Bernie Bro. Have a great day.